So sleep problems are common in Parkinson's. What are some of the things that you come across?
So common things that people experience are difficulty getting to sleep, difficulty staying asleep, and frequent waking because of urinary problems, for example. And then there are the things called the parasomnias, things like REM behaviour disorder, which can affect people where they act out their dreams. Now, that's not necessarily so much a problem for them, although they will sleep poorly, but any bed partner that they have can sometimes have a bad night's sleep as well.
I guess if I have a problem getting to sleep, is there anything I can do about that? Any medications I can take, for example?
Well, before we get to medication, I think it's important that we think about what I refer to as sleep hygiene, which is having a good routine going to bed, because the brain is such a complex thing. It picks up on lots of cues. And if you have a sort of a chaotic routine, if you like, going to bed, then it won't necessarily key into the fact that it's bedtime. So what I normally say to people is that in the hour or two before bed, you really need to signal to the brain that it's time to go to sleep. And that's by kind of winding down, not doing anything that's too engaging, perhaps reducing the amount of blue light that you're using in terms of Kindles and iPads and TV screens and those kinds of things. People often have a hot milky drink or a bath or something to signal to the brain that this is time to wind down. If you're just not going to sleep, then getting up and kind of distracting the brain and then trying again is probably better. But it can be a problem.
So for me personally, I don't have a problem getting to sleep. I find I can sleep almost anywhere. But staying asleep is the issue. I quite often wake up only a couple of hours after going to bed and then I'm awake for several hours in the night. Are there any things you can do about that?
What we have to think about is what's happening to dopamine levels. Now, quite often people take dopamine during the day 3 or 4 times or more sometimes, but then during the night they take much less. And sometimes there can be a bit of a trough in the dopamine level, and that can lead to people sleeping badly for a whole variety of reasons. It might be due to stiffness, for example, or sometimes people find that when dopamine levels go low, they become anxious. And then other things, discomfort, like maybe pain from stiffness or cramp. And often then urinary function can kick in, and is it because you're awake you want to go to the toilet, or is the wanting to go to the toilet waking you up?
Yeah, I think I have all of those at some point or another. So you mentioned REM sleep disorder earlier. Can you explain a bit more about what that is and what some of the things you can do about it are?
REM sleep is where you do your dreaming. Rapid eye movement, REM sleep stands for. And you're not supposed to move in REM sleep, but in REM behaviour disorder, that stillness is removed. And so you tend to act out your dreams. So quite often people report having very active dreams, feeling they're being chased and trying to get away from an assailant, for example, or sporting dreams where they're scoring the winning goal in the FA Cup final. People sometimes can put themselves and their bed partners at risk when it becomes quite marked. And so if people are having these particular problems with their sleep, there are various things that we can try to do, both with their Parkinson's medications, but with additional medications sometimes, to try to reduce the likelihood that they're going to have REM sleep disturbance.
It sounds like sleeping in the spare room is a useful solution as well. So closely related to sleep problems, I guess, is the idea of fatigue. I certainly find that I get very tired in the daytime, and sometimes I'd have afternoon naps. What's your view on napping in the daytime to overcome fatigue problems?
I think it's a great idea. I think people often feel that having a nap is being defeated. And actually, napping is what the brain needs. Because of Parkinson's disease, the brain circuitry is kind of working in overdrive, and so therefore needs a bit of rest and recuperation.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I find that just a 5 or 10 minute power nap in the afternoon, really revitalizes me, makes a world of difference.
Yes, no, I'd agree. And I think people's function often is better. Their motor, their movement function can be better. And I think it's really important to recognize that and to just factor it in as part of the day, because I think the benefits from it will be significant.
Sleep problems are one of the most significant challenges facing people with Parkinson's. Some issues include getting to sleep, staying asleep, and REM sleep disorder. Speak to your specialist about any sleep problems. There is often a lot that can be done to improve sleep significantly.